Somewhere right now, someone is sitting alone at lunch, eating exactly the same sandwich they ate yesterday. They've noticed a flicker in the office light that nobody else seems to register. Small talk feels like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. Their manager calls it a deficit in social skills. Their file says autism spectrum disorder. But 50,000 years ago, that exact mind was the reason a tribe survived the winter. This is the story of what that brain was actually built for. Autism affects between 1 and 2% of people in every country, in every culture ever studied. That number barely moves no matter where researchers look. From a strict evolutionary standpoint, that should not be possible. Traits that reduce social success are supposed to disappear over generations. This one never did. In 2011, researcher Reeser proposed an answer he called the solitary forager hypothesis. Long before agriculture, human groups sometimes split apart or got separated during migration. Survival alone meant tracking animals for days without anyone to talk to. It meant noticing one broken blade of grass among thousands of identical ones. It meant building a tool with perfect symmetry, alone, with total focus, for hours. The mind that struggles in a crowded room was built for exactly this kind of silence. In 2005, anthropologist Piers Vitebsky documented a real case among the even reindeer herders of Siberia. A man named Nikitin lived apart from the main camp, completely on his own. He avoided gatherings, ignored the tribe's social hierarchy, and struggled to make conversation. But Nikitin remembered the full history of 2,600 individual reindeer. He knew which one had limped 3 years ago and why. He could predict which males would fight during mating season just from watching their walk. No one in the tribe understood the herd better than he did. The people around him didn't see a broken man. They saw the person who kept the entire herd alive. He was married, he had a son, and the tribe treated his knowledge as essential. Psychologist Baron-Cohen calls this an extreme systemizing brain. It's a mind built to find the rules inside complex systems rather than read complex people. In laboratory tests, autistic children consistently outperform others at finding a hidden object among many distractions. Their brains don't get slower as the noise around them increases. Most people scan a scene and grab the general shape of it, then move on. An autistic mind processes every piece individually, in detail, without skipping anything. On a savanna full of real threats, skipping details could get you killed. A faint smell of smoke, a strange shift in the wind, a sound that wasn't there yesterday. Researchers have found that autistic people detect threatening faces in a crowd faster than anyone else. That sensitivity that overwhelms a modern office was a built-in alarm system in the wild. Researcher Penny Spikins studies cave paintings from the Ice Age, in caves like Lascaux and Chauvet. The animals in these paintings are drawn with extreme anatomical precision, in motion, overlapping each other. For years, some scientists assumed this required a trance state or some altered state of mind. Spikins disagreed, and her argument is simple. Substances that alter perception make hands shakier and judgment worse, not more precise. These paintings were almost certainly made by people with an intense, focused, detail-driven mind, the exact cognitive style we now call autistic. Ancient human groups weren't held together by one single kind of intelligence. They were held together by a mix of very different minds, each filling a different role. One Neanderthal named Shanidar lived for 15 years with one arm and one eye, blind on one side. His tribe fed him and protected him that entire time. Cognitive difference wasn't just tolerated in the ancient world. It was something tribes were built around. In 2017, researchers at Yale found something that surprised almost everyone in the field. The genetic variants linked to autism are also linked to higher general intelligence, higher mathematical ability, and more years of education across the wider population. These genes are wired into the basic machinery that builds and organizes the human brain. A study published in 2025 took this even further. It found that the exact brain cells responsible for humanity's unique reasoning ability evolved unusually fast. And as they evolved, they shifted toward a pattern that looks remarkably like the autistic brain. In other words, the price of an unusually capable human mind may be a small percentage of minds tuned differently. Autism may not be a flaw sitting next to human intelligence. It might be the cost of building it in the first place. For most of human history, nobody asked whether a person matched some imaginary standard of normal. people were judged by what they actually contributed to the group's survival. That changed with industrial capitalism. Factories needed identical, interchangeable, easily replaceable workers. A mind that couldn't follow rigid social rules on command started to look like a malfunction. That's when isolation wards and harsh institutions began filling up with exactly the kind of mind that once kept tribes alive. Now look at what happened in Eindhoven, a major tech hub in the Netherlands. Researchers compared autism rates there to two similar nearby cities. Eindhoven's rate was nearly 3 times higher than the others. Every other condition they measured stayed exactly the same across all 3 cities. Something about a city built entirely around systemizing minds was pulling those same minds back toward the center. In some traditional communities today, this difference is barely noticed at all. In rural Namibia, a boy with strong autistic traits herds the family's animals perfectly, every single day. When an anthropologist asked who would care for him later in life, an elder simply said, "We won't all die on the same day." The community absorbs the gap without even thinking about it. That is not the case everywhere, and it should be said clearly. In some cultures, this difference is met with fear, shame, or outright cruelty, and that is a real and serious problem. But the pattern across history is consistent. Wherever a group needed precision, pattern recognition, or someone willing to sit alone with a difficult problem, this mind had a place. Modern life didn't invent this brain. It just stopped knowing what to do with it. The forests, the herds, and the tools are mostly gone now, but the mind built to track every detail of them is still right here, looking for somewhere to point itself.